Man, we got Mr. Motherfucking Ballin' with Horrifying that happened on movie sets. I don't know nothing crazy that happened on movie sets type shit. I don't know. What's crazy or something? I know that Bruce Lee shit, you know what I'm saying, type shit. I know that. On movie sets, I really don't know. I really can't explain, you feel me? But
horror movies are legitimately scary, but in some cases, the events that took place on the sets of certain horror movies were more terrifying than the movies themselves.
No.
A number of horrifying incidents have taken place on the sets of some of the most successful horror movies of all time, before, during, or shortly after filming. Whether these incidents were fatal accidents, cruel twists of fate, or some sort of evil curse still remains debatable. Perhaps a good place to start would be the Amityville Horror House.
But that movie bring me so much, bruh. This movie bring me so many motherfucking flashbacks, bruh. I swear to God, bruh. I used to be so motherfucking terrified of this movie, bro. I swear to God,
fatal accidents,
I used to be so terrified of this movie, bro.
Some sort of evil curse.
The old and the new version, bro.
Perhaps a good place to start would be the Amityville.
Bro, this movie. When I tell you, if you a kid, bro, don't watch this, bro. This shit is. If you never seen this before as a kid, don't watch it, bro. This shit at nighttime. If you by yourself, don't watch this, bitch, boy. Boy, I like to pass out both times. I watched both of them motherfuckers. And them bitches, boy. And this crazy happening true story. Like, that shit is crazy.
The Horror House.
Crazy.
Whose events may start to seem even scarier when you learn that horrors also took place on the sets for both the 1979 movie and the 2005 remake. The first Amityville movie starred James Brolin, who wasn't a
Wait. I didn't know they actually filmed it in the real house. I didn't know they actually filmed it in the real house. I thought it was just like a house they built up to make it look like their house. I didn't know it was the actual house, nigga.
But eventually he accepted it because of something strange that happened. While reading the script one morning and getting to a scary section of the story, a pair of the actors suddenly fell off a hanger, causing him to literally jump out of his chair in fright. James, of course, saw this as a sign that he needed to take the role, and the rest was history. Fast forward to the 2005 remake, with Ryan Reynolds taking on the part that was originally played by James Brolin. During filming, Ryan Reynolds, along with other cast members, claimed that every morning at exactly 3:15 a.m., they would wake up. The reason why that's terrifying is because 3:15 a.m. was the exact time that Ronald DeFeo murdered his entire family in the house. And it becomes a whole lot more creepy. At one point during filming, there was also an actual dead body that washed up near the filming set in the boathouse in the backyard of the house. Actors and crew members always suspected that there was an otherworldly presence during the filming of the movie. Whether they were right or just overly paranoid, who knows?
The 2012 that movie used to scare the fuck out of me. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I used to have nightmares about that bitch. I ain't cat when they was put that girl in the closet. When I used to love Pet Cemetery, but I ain't no puss. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no puss in them. But I love scary movies. Actually, like I love all types of scary movies. You feel me? But they got something to do with ghosts and shit. You lost me on that one.
Film The Possession is an unconventional horror movie that involves rabbis, Judaism, and a cursed Jewish relic called Dybbuk box that attaches itself to a young girl. A Dybbuk box is a wine cabinet claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, which is a malevolent wandering spirit that enters and possesses the body of a living person until exorcised. What happened on the set of The Possession left even the star of the movie, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, feeling very uneasy, and he already had a lot of experience acting in horror movies and shows under his belt. Some of the seemingly supernatural things that happened included lights exploding for no apparent reason, as well as chilly breezes wafting through closed sets for no particular reason. But the scariest incident occurred when the storage facility where all the movie props were being held caught fire and burned to the ground. A team of investigators concluded that the fire was not started from an electrical fault or arson, but the actual cause for the fire couldn't be determined. The Dybbuk box used in the movie, which played an important role in the movie, was destroyed in the fire, and the cast and crew later refused to allow the movie's producers to replace the Dybbuk box for fear that it was cursed. The Conjuring is a movie that's supposed to be based on the true story of the Perron family.
Conjuring's scary than the motherfucker too, though. And Insidious. Ooh, boy, if I had... Well, no, Insidious 1 and 2 Scared of that motherfucker. 3 is alright, but 4 it's alright. It's alright. Jump scares more than like it, but one of Insidious, boy, with that motherfucker, that red face, boy, that shit scared me still. And I'm grown than a motherfucker. That shit still scared me. When I first seen that motherfucker, he came for old girl like this, smiling, bitch. I was scared than a motherfucker. I can't watch this Insidious, boy. Oh God.
Who claimed to be tormented by supernatural entities in the Rhode Island home in the
I love it, but I
70s.
can't.
While several of the family members spent time on the set during filming, the mother refused to go anywhere near it, as she was convinced that several unexplained events that plagued the filming of this movie on set were proof that the spirits hadn't finished with them yet. For instance, when members of the parent family were visiting, a furious gust of wind suddenly rose and seemed to swirl around them. However, nobody could see any movement in any of the trees just opposite them, movement you'd expect to see from any normal gust of wind. Just a couple days later, the hotel that the actors and movie crew were staying in caught fire and everyone had to be evacuated. And it doesn't end there. James Wan, the movie's director, recalls working late in his office one evening when his dog started growling at something. He would get up to investigate, but he couldn't find anything that would be antagonizing the dog. However, the dog had his sights on something across the room. It seemed he had focused on an unseen entity in one corner of the room. James took a break from working after this.
Yeah, I would too.
Legitimately freaked out. Vera Farmiga, who played the role of a paranormal investigator in the film, refused to take the script home with her, as she said it made her feel uneasy. She also couldn't read it at night because she became paralyzed by fear whenever she tried. After a phone call discussion with James Wan, Vera opened her laptop screen, and there were 3 digital claw marks from the upper right diagonal to the lower left. This wasn't the last time it happened, though. Her next experience came a few months later, literally on the day that she completed work on.
And just throw it in here. The nun-lame is fucked too, though. The nun-lame, I'm sorry, the nun-lame to me. Take it how you take it, bitch.
She returned home to upstate New York.
When
she woke up the next day, she discovered what she describes as 3 claw-marked bruises across her thigh.
And she still did the movie?
In 1983, a movie based on the Twilight Zone series was released. During filming, actor Vic Morrow was killed on the set. Deaths on movie sets have happened many times. But what makes this extra disturbing is the fact that Morrow appeared to predict his demise just a year earlier. A year before filming of the Twilight Zone movie began, Vic took out a $5 million life insurance policy on himself, explaining to friends and family members that he had a premonition something bad was going to happen to him on an upcoming movie. He had seen it in a dream he had. Unfortunately, his premonition came true, because while filming a scene involving a helicopter...
That'd be scary, though. I ain't gonna care. That'd be scary as fuck, though. I ain't gonna lie.
The Twilight Zone, the helicopter crashed and decapitated him. 2 child actors were also killed in the accident, which prompted a lengthy investigation and court case. It was later revealed in court that the movie's concept artist unintentionally drew an identical image in his sketches to what actually happened.
And they still made
a burned-out helicopter in the middle of a river, essentially foreshadowing the accident. The accident led to civil and criminal action against the filmmakers, which lasted nearly a decade.
Damn.
One of the children's fathers testified that he heard John Landis, the director, instructing the helicopter to fly lower. All 4 parents testified that they were never told that there would be helicopters or explosives on set, and they had been assured that there would be no danger, only a lot of noise. John Landis and 4 other crew members would be found not guilty on the 3 charges of manslaughter, having been the first time a director was charged due to a fatality on a film set. The 1976 film The Omen is another horror classic following the tale of...
I don't think I'm... The Omen. I ain't never seen The Omen. I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen this before.
Young boy named Damien Thorne, who was replaced at birth by his father, unbeknownst to his wife, after their biological child died shortly after birth. As a series of mysterious events and violent deaths occur around the family and Damien enters childhood, they come to learn he's in fact the Antichrist. The film almost wasn't going to be completed due to an alleged curse that surrounded filming of the movie. So many horrible things happened on the set of The Omen that it can be comparable to the amount of bad things to happen in the movie. The tragedies began with the son of the lead actor Gregory Peck taking his own life as soon as filming began.
Damn!
The next incident was when a crew member suffered major injuries after getting into a car accident while driving to the set. But the tragedies didn't stop there.
I never heard of this.
The scriptwriter's airplane was struck by lightning en route to the film's location. And if that weren't enough, an airplane in which Gregory Peck and the movie's executive producer were traveling in was also struck by lightning in a separate incident. Harvey Bernhard, the producer, was on location in Rome when he was almost hit by a bolt of lightning himself, and believe it or not, the horrible luck involving airplanes continued, and it got much worse. One day, the crew had decided to use a private airplane to get from one film location to the other. However, just after the plane took off with a number of the crew on board, something went wrong and the plane went down, crashing into a road and hitting a car, which then crashed at a high speed into another vehicle. All 11 people involved in the accident were killed. Another tragic death associated with the movie set was that of Liz Moore. John Richardson, the Omen special effects expert, was driving through the Netherlands with Liz Moore when they were involved in a terrible car accident. Richardson escaped with very minor injuries, but Moore's head was completely severed when a tire smashed into their vehicle. This incident was eerily reminiscent of a scene in The Omen, in which the character Keith Jennings, investigating Damien's supernatural origins, is decapitated by a sheet of glass that comes loose from a vehicle on a construction site. Richardson later reported that just before the crash, he passed a road sign that read Omen 66.6 kilometers. Make of that what you will, but there's no denying that it's not too far off to speculate that the production of The Omen may have been cursed.
I ain't gonna lie,
that, or it was all just an outrageous coincidence. All that can be said for sure is that The Omen is a very iconic movie.
I ain't watching The Omen.
Around its production.
Omen, damn, I ain't watching
that legacy.
Omen, the flow, man. I don't give a damn if this motherfucker make a reboot. I ain't watching that motherfucker. Hell no. Everybody damn that made the motherfucker to die. You think I'm finna watch that? Crazy motherfucker, man. Hey, but anyway, man, give me a thumbs up. Missing Nightmare, you always come some banging videos. That being said, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, see how motherfuckers on that video. Let's ride, nigga.